Welcome back to Open. We're joined by ESPNNewYork.com sports writer Jared Zwerling. Jared, great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm wearing my NBA draft vest. I don't know if you like my outfit.
Silky smooth, man.
I was actually hoping that I might get an opportunity to be drafted tonight, but it didn't work out that way.
What happened? What happened to the agent?
I'm just not fit enough, and my jump shot's not good enough.
Hey, I'm just like you, man. I'm up here with you and enjoying the scene like a fan. So
tonight, getting an opportunity to cover the draft. Any surprise with the number 1 pick, seeing Anthony Davis go number 1?
Not at all. I mean, he's going to be a great stud in this league. Defender, rebounder, block shots for the Hornets team. I mean, last year, obviously, they didn't play too well, but they get Eric Gordon, Austin Rivers at the 10th pick. They have a really nice foundation from the backcourt to the front court, and Anthony's a great kid. He has a lot of length. I mean, he has to bulk up. That's the thing that he talked about in the interview room. He's got to get more physical, and obviously the NBA is a very physical game, but I think he's going to get there. He's already grown like 7 inches since high school. Since he was a freshman in high school. So he's going to keep growing, he's going to keep maturing. So I'm really excited about what the New Orleans Hornets can do, for sure.
A lot of shuffling in the first round. I think many people, especially with the way they had their kind of draft order going, surprised by the outcome, especially of the first 5 picks. Your thoughts?
You know what, I think it was a little surprise, but I think all the 5 guys are really going to step in and really help their teams a lot. Bradley Beal to the Wizards, for sure. To play with John Wall there in the backcourt, great addition. They have Chris Singleton over there as well, and I think they're going to really have a nice front court, with some young guys. I think Robinson going to the Kings was big. I mean, he's very physical. He's going to be a great rebounder, kind of like a Brandon Bass type player. I think he's one of the most physical guys in the draft. NBA ready to go. Dion Waiters going to Cleveland with Kyrie Irving, a great backcourt there. I think every team found some value. Some surprises. Waiters obviously really climbed the draft boards pretty quickly, but I think he's a NBA-ready guy. When you talk to him, you get the sense that he's ready to go, and he's going to lead his team really well with Kyrie Irving. So I think the top 5 guys are really going to help their teams, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do next year.
Davis, of course, the creme de la creme of the draft, the national champ, top player coming out. If there was one other guy in this draft so far that you've seen tonight that stood out to you, whether it was watching the combine or coming in and having a guy that you said this guy is going to be a proven star in the NBA, who would that be?
Well, I think Jeremy Lamb going to the Rockets. He's not great defensively, but he has all the tools offensively. Kind of like Carmelo Anthony coming out, can put the ball in the cup. I mean, he can score it every which way, from outside, inside. He's very crafty with his ball handle. In the NBA, you got to be very crafty. You can't be just a linear driver to the basket because guys are going to stop you. But he knows how to do spin moves and crossovers, and I think he's going to be really good there in Houston. So if he can bulk up and increase his defensive ability, I really like him, and he's going to be a good steal, I think, in the late first round.
I totally agree. I know that Knicks fans were heartbroken to see that 16th pick here tonight, reminiscing about the Tracy McGrady trade
2010,
and realizing that could have been a pick for them. Your thoughts on basically how these 2 New York teams don't have first-round picks and maybe how it will play out for them tonight?
Well, the Knicks could still get a steal. I mean, they like a couple of shooters, and I think they really want a shooter. I talked to a couple of sources before the draft, and they really would like to draft a point guard, maybe Scott Machado, Tyson Taylor out of Kansas, but I really think they weren't too impressed, and they didn't really have too many workouts. They only had like 3 or 4 workouts, but I think they really have to go with a shooter to help spread the court with Carmelo, Amari, / even Jeremy Lin. So I would say they're going to look at a shooter. I would say a couple guys, Kim English out of Missouri, Jay Crowder out of Marquette, also Darius Johnson Odom, another Marquette teammate. I would say any of those guys, maybe Hollis Thompson out of Georgetown, and also Kevin Murphy out of Tennessee Tech. I would say some of those guys could really help the Knicks, in the shooting category, to fill a role, because the Knicks are loaded. They have a lot of talent. I think they have to bring in a guy who can really fill a role, not really someone who could do a lot of different things. As far as the Nets go, I mean, really, it's wide open. I mean, you take the best available.
This draft lacking a lot of overseas players. It's also lacking a lot of players, I would say, from the local perspective. There is one guy in the first round so far that has made an impression here in New York, and that was St. John's Mo Harkless. Talk about him being drafted so early in the first round.
Well, first of all, it's cool to see him here in the draft arena. I mean, he wasn't really in the green room, but he was here, New York guy. Obviously the fans were cheering for him. I think he's a great player. I mean, I really think he can do a lot of different things well. Kind of like Andre Iguodala, but not as good as a passer. But he's very athletic. He can shoot. He can jump. He can run the fast break. The Sixers like to draft these these wing guys that can do a lot of different things. So I think he can do well. It's going to be just how he can fit into the Sixers organization because they have Evan Turner playing really well. Iguodala, I don't know what's going to happen there with him. So he's going to have to find his way. He may not play a lot right away, but he has a lot of talent. So go St. John's. It's been a while since St. John's has been on the map. go back to Ron Artest and some of the other guys. So it's nice to see St. John's represented finally in the draft after many years.
Maurice, Bobby C., BronxNet TV. I know it was a short period of time, but if you can, just talk about what St. John's was able to do for you.
It kind of just being there humbled me a lot. I was already humbled, but definitely being there, working with Coach Rico and Coach Dunlap, who's now the coach of the Bobcats. They taught me how to really work hard and how to dedicate myself to the game, and I think that they helped me a lot with the little things. I'm really thankful for this opportunity and thankful to the Philadelphia organization for drafting me. I'm going to work really hard and try to help the team out in any way that I can.
Knicks fans are happy to see, I'm sure, St. John's back on the map, and they're happy to see the Knicks back in contention as well. Do you believe that this cast, this trio, can actually win a championship?
You know what? I think they have a great core. I think a couple things have to happen. First of all, they have to have more defined roles. I think Amari and Tyson really have to understand who is the pick and roller, who is the post-up player in certain schemes. Melo has to become a better passer to Chandler off the pick and roll, and also Amari in the post. They have to build more trust in each other. I think also defensively, it's got to be a lot more than Chandler, obviously defensive player of the year, but Melo and Amari have to be better consistently on defense, no question about it. I think Mike Woodson is a great defensive coach, but I think offensively he has to become more creative with his schemes and really get those guys playing to their strengths. And again, they need shooters around them to really balance it out and really spread the court, get some good ball movement. But I think they have the talent. I think Amari working with Akeem Olajuwon in August is a big move for him. I think it'll create more of a defined role for him in the post and give Chandler really an ability to play more of a high pick and roller with Jeremy Lin. And Melo has just got to become more of a complete player. This is a big year for him. This is a really big year. This is his first full year in New York, full training camp. So I think they have the pieces, but again, it's going to take consistent effort, team focus, and I think the guys around him really create that team approach.
If you had to give the Knicks a grade for this past season, what would it be?
I would say a B. I think injuries definitely doomed them, in the playoffs, and I think they weren't going to beat the Heat, but I think they would have probably put up more of a fight. I think if they didn't have injuries and they had more of a balance with coaching, obviously they had the coaching change, I think they could have been actually higher in the seeding and maybe even gotten home court and maybe gotten out of that first round. So I would say I'll give them a B. I think they really play well under Mike Woodson, going 18-6 to end the season. So they did show some potential defensively, a lot of improvement there. Melo did play well under Woodson. I think Jeremy Lin. I also credit the B to the front office, getting Lin, signing Novak, signing J.R. Smith. They were really smart to bring in guys that really complemented a good roster. So I would say that's probably a fair grade for them.
What will it take to get that B to an A this season?
Well, first of all, it's that consistent defense. They have to do it all the time, and really Woodson, I think, at the top really helps them out there. They got to beat teams that they just need to beat. They can't go into these teams play against teams that they're going to lose to. They got to beat every team. They have to have that full focus all year round, like the Thunder, like the Heat, Celtics. I mean, they can't take any team lightly. And I think they need just better three-point shooting. Novak was there all year, but J.R. Smith really kind of faltered towards the end of the season. Tony Douglas, what happened to him? Landry Fields as well. They ranked in the bottom of the league this past year in three-point shooting. I think they shot around 33%.
We have two teams in New York now. Should the Knicks organization be a little bit nervous about Brooklyn?
I would say initially, don't be too afraid by the Nets. I think the Knicks are really far ahead and they have a better core right now. But hey, anything's possible. Like I said, the Nets have a lot of money. They have like 10 roster spots to fill, something like that. So, we'll see come August 1st. I'll probably answer that question a little bit better. But I would say right now, I think the Knicks are better suited to do better damage against the Nets so far.
Were you surprised to see Miami win it all?
No, not at all. I think they lost their identity during the season a little bit. They weren't sure what kind of basketball they were playing. They sometimes play too much isolation with Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, but they found the right formula. They were pretty much one of the best teams all year, but they found the right formula at the right time. Chris Bosh coming off the bench initially and then using him in the starting five, playing a smaller lineup with Shane Battier as the starting three, LeBron at the four, really becoming more of a post-up player. They had all the right pieces to really compete for a championship, but they really I think credit to the coaching staff. They really put it together well. They put guys in the right places to really be successful. And they had just more experience. The Thunder are going to be there next year. I think it's going to be Heat Thunder once again. And I think the Thunder will put up a challenge. And Wade, LeBron, and Bosh all said the same thing. It's all about experience. That's why we lost last year. We didn't really have all the experience, and they found a way. They knew how each other were going to play, and they got it done.
Jared, you always have great insights, and we'll always be reading ESPNNewYork.com. Great to have you on the show.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
We'll take a quick timeout. We'll have more open coming up right after this.